back in Lindblom, I went ahead and defeated the Nova Dragon, which happens after the cutscenes in which you arrive in Memoria. But then you can instantly leave Memoria from the little portal at the entrance to the castle, which I went ahead and did. And now we're back in the theater district so that I can continue the family quest. Let's head into the Tantalus hideout. Nero and Nero aren't here. I'd better go look. And off goes Nero. And we have furthered the quest. Now I need to head back and continue the main plot a little bit further in order to get access to more parts of this quest. This time I went ahead and defeated Maliris, so it is time to head back yet again. That is the next event that you need to do before heading back here to further the quest. Nero and Nero and Nero aren't here. I'd better go look. Didn't know there was a Nero, but apparently there is, and he is off to find his brothers. So it is back to Memoria for me to go a little bit further in before heading right back here. Went back to Memoria and witnessed the flashback of Alexandria Castle with Alexander. And now we are back in Lindblom's theater district and ready to head back to the Tantalus hideout. Nero and Nero and Nero and Nero aren't there. I'd better go look. And off goes Nero, which once again is someone who I did not know existed. But now it's time to go even further into Memoria. Could you imagine doing this in your first run? It'd be ridiculous. Every time you defeat a boss or witness a scene, you gotta come back here. This time I ran just far enough so that Ronaldo does say, "It's raining." And then I came all the way back here. Let's see who is in today. It's Nero. I'm going to assume that's a female. How do you say a heart? Nero and Nero and Nero and Nero and Nero aren't here. I'd better go look. And off goes Nero. This is starting to get a little weird. But we have a little bit further to go in, so I'll meet you at the next little trigger in Memoria. The next trigger is the flashback with Lexi on the boat that both Lexi and Ronaldo see. Then you can run back. By the way, you don't have to be perfect on this. They give you more than enough triggers so that you can skip a couple here and there without too much of an issue. I'm just doing the earliest ones that I can. And then we will head in and see who is hanging out there today. We got Nero. Nero and Nero and Nero and Nero and Nero and Nero aren't here. I'd better go look. And off goes, who is it? Nero. This is definitely starting to get weird and it's forming tongue twisters as I keep going. I'll meet you back here after the next trigger. The next trigger is the scene with the giant eye. Garland starts talking to you as soon as you walk into the room with the giant eye. Then you can leave and come back and find Nero. Nero and Nero and Nero and Nero and Nero and Nero and Nero aren't here. I'd better go look. Yeah, why don't you do that? God, why are there so many? I'll meet you after the next trigger. The next trigger is a boss fight with Tiamat once you have defeated the three-headed dragon. It's time to head back. Nero and 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 Nero aren't here. So says Nero. I better go look. And off goes Nero. We're almost done. We're almost there. But there's still some more for us to do. So I'll be back after the next trigger, which isn't going to be a fight. And the final trigger that I will be using is the scene with the two planets colliding. And Garland talks to you about it. And then you can run back here and try to go back into the Tantalus hideout. And Nero shows up. Zanero and Bonero and Gennaro and Dinero and Panero and Bonera and Zanera and Gennara and Dinero aren't here. I'd better go look. And as a result, we do get a comment from Ronaldo. That's one huge family. Man, I feel dizzy. Yeah, you didn't have to read all that. But what do we get for completing all of this? Remember, that was 9 times we had to come here, including the time that we came here at the beginning of Disc 4. 9 times in total. Then we can head inside and get our well-earned reward. A protect ring. A ring we already have. Granted, I didn't have 4, so it is useful. I will probably be using it, but it's definitely not necessarily worth all this effort. And by not necessarily, I mean it's definitely not worth all of this effort. And I've never been a fan of leaving the final dungeon in the middle of it anyway. And this time, that's exactly what we did. We went through the final dungeon several times and then came back. There are more triggers. There are, in fact, 9 more triggers. The other triggers are the scene where Kermit thinks that Kermit is drowning when swimming through whatever it is that Kermit was swimming through. Then we have the scene where Ronaldo talks about memories. Then we have the battle with the Kraken. Then the scene about Gaia's birth. Then the party entering the gate to space area, the area that transforms when you enter that area, but before the battle with the Lich. Then the next trigger is the battle with the Lich. Then there's the scene where Garland talks about the beginning and the crystal. Then there's the scene where we enter the crystal world. And finally, the final trigger possible is the battle with Death Guys. That's how far along in Memoria you can get and return here to further this side quest. You can pretty much make it to the end of the game. Not necessarily something that I'm a big fan of, but that is the family side quest down. And that is the final side quest that I am taking care of in this Let's Play. We still have some more work to do. Primarily, I want to take on Ozma again, but we'll go take care of that pretty shortly. That's going to do it for these parts of Let's Play Final Fantasy IX bonus videos. Hope you guys have enjoyed them. I've been Baller Scuba. I've been joined, as always, by my massively leveled up squad of Ronaldo, Kermit, Mistral, and Stefan. I've been doing some work. Hope you guys have enjoyed these parts. Hope you laughed. Hope you learned. Hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.